welcome to another episode of the G Show podcast. I am G1, and this is the Godzilla Block Party. Wow, there's a couple of things going on in the world today. Nothing major, but I want to talk about a couple of big news items regarding Comic-Con, which is going to be fun. But before we get into all that, let me introduce you to my cohorts on the podcast. As always, my right hand when it comes to Godzilla on the G Show, G73, Megzy, a.k.a. Chase. What's up, my brother?
Man, it is a great Friday. Well, I mean Thursday. But yeah, it's great today.
It is a great day indeed. It's warm outside. Also joining us, we got my man Gam Z1. Andrew, what's up, brother?
On one hand, I agree with Chase. It's a beautiful day. On the other hand, I have to go back to work tonight, so...
Yeah, sorry about that, man. But hey, make that money and go see Godzilla before it's out of theaters. Which brings us to the new number one topic of the day. It's not new, but it's the number one topic of the day. And that's, dudes, I went on my Fandango app because I was itching to go see Godzilla one last time in the theaters. And every theater that is within, I would say, a 10-mile radius from me, it's not playing.
Yeah, it's gone for me too.
I'm very disappointed about that. I was like, oh, come on. I'm not going to travel about 20 miles to go see Godzilla. No offense. I mean, I've seen it 4 times. I've seen it enough. Not really, but I'm not going to go out of my way to see it, man. I'm just like, what the hell? And some of these movies are like, some of these theaters are like movie theaters. They got like 15 screens. And I'm like, how is Godzilla in the middle of the week not showing? Is it because they're putting the Avengers back? I don't even want to hear that. Some of these theaters, right? Some of these theaters already had Avengers still playing. All they had to do was just take the old one out, put the new one in with the added footage, and they have it. Then you don't lose a theater. I was mind-boggled. It shows that here, at least in my neighborhood, it's not making no money, so they're pulling it from theaters. I was a little upset about that because, again, like I said, I wanted to see it again. I did. But it kind of gives me hope because if they're pulling it now, that means within about a month or two, we'll be getting it on VOD and then the Blu-ray release, Blu-ray 4K, and I'm all for it. But, so I want to ask y'all, like, being that now it's at its end. It's at its last legs. Spider-Man, Toy Story 4 just came out. Spider-Man's coming out next week. Where it's definitely hell. They're pulling Dark Phoenix out of the theaters already. So is this?
That just shows you how much of a failure Dark Phoenix is.
Yeah, I agree. They really had to stop the bleeding there. So let me ask you. I'm gonna start with you, Chase. Where do you think Godzilla King of the Monsters is going to come out for home video? Like, you think August, September? Where do you think is going to be?
I don't know. I can just tell you guys that where I'm at, I have you guys both beat. King of the Monsters in my area still has full showings throughout the day, and it's like every theater in my area. I guess King of the Monsters is, more popular over here. Because, I mean, even when we were talking about ticket sales that night, like, mine was more packed than yours, Ray, and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, but Sacramento is a little bit more populated. I don't know, populated. Maybe commercial, maybe. I don't know. Something about Sacramento where I'm at. Maybe because it's by the bay. Who knows? But, I mean, Dumbo just now got announced that you can buy it on DVD and Blu-ray. I'd say it would probably take about 3 months after its release. Probably end of August, early September.
You know why I bring this up, too? Because I saw the other day Detective Pikachu just got its release date for home video. And I was like, wait a minute. That movie was just... Really? Yeah, I was like, that movie was just in theaters with Godzilla. What the hell's going on here?
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, all right, well, if they're doing that, and that's also a Warner Brothers release, so I'm like, if they're doing that.
That must mean they were working on its DVD Blu-ray release after it launched out of the theaters.
Seriously, bro. Seriously.
I mean, they were doing the same thing for King of the Monsters shortly after it came out in theaters. We already saw Blu-ray box art for it.
Right, that's true. That's true. I'm looking forward to the steelbook on that one. Just,
Yeah, but the difference is Pikachu is out now, right? On video or digital.
I think I saw it. It said the 13th of July, which that's around the corner.
Okay, well that's still pretty early. Well, the only difference is I would say to that is box art opposed to what they put in the DVDs and the Blu-rays and stuff like that is a lot different. I mean, even then, that we don't even know if that box art's going to remain the same. Once it gets more of a official announcement, it very well could change. But yeah, it's still weird. But like I said, I think it will be end of August, early September.
I could dig it, because if it is, that just means I get my grubby little paws on it sooner rather than later. Drew, what do you think? What do you think it's do you agree with Chase in that around that area, or you think it's before maybe?
I'd say maybe mid-August would be a good time, since it came out in May. And just like you, it pretty much has left pretty much every theater in Montana, and that makes me sad. But it is what it is. I mean, that just means that the those sites, not going to name names, but those sites that have the DVD rips from like Taiwan.
Yeah.
Because Taiwan gets DVDs before like literally everybody else. It means I'll be able to watch it on that all the sooner.
Oh boy, I do not condone that stuff.
Not naming names, just not naming websites.
Just let me know when Child's Play's on one of those things, all right?
I will.
It's sad to see it go. It really is. I think we might need to make a pilgrimage to Sacramento just so we can see it one last time with Jace.
With me.
Yeah, let's just be the three of us. It'll be great.
That's it. We got to make that pilgrimage and do it. But I will say this though, and even though it sucks for us because it's out of the theaters. Hey, at least it did break 100 million here in the States, which is a good thing. That's it made some of its production money back. I think it's coming. Is China giving it an extended run?
Yeah, China has given it an extended run through July, I think. That's
not bad. So, fingers crossed. China's different. That's a different beast nowadays, and I love it. And a lot of these movies now, they bank on that foreign market, especially China, because it's become such a massive movie faring country. You know what I mean? You look at like what the Fast and Furious, like they really market that shit to China to like big time. Look at that Transformers movie where they were like, it's in China.
The most recent example I can remember is The Meg, where they pretty much changed the entire story of the book to have it centered around China rather than Japan.
Yeah.
And it's solely for that Chinese market. And from what I understand, The Meg made bank in China. So there's that.
The Meg made bank in general.
Yeah, the Meg did.
It kind of did.
The Meg was
Jason Statham, man, and
it was I wouldn't say a surprise hit, but it was surprising. The money it made was a bit surprising for the type of movie it was. That's what gave me hope for Godzilla. I was like, oh man, if people are going to see this. Ha! Wait till the king arrives. Yeah. Woo.
Yeah. Woo.
Pie in the face.
And that hype was sucked away with the Avengers.
Yeah.
and Spider-Man Far From Home's going to get knocked too because of the Avengers coming back. But I hope no movies get hurt because Avengers coming back. I think that's a sour play to do, but
so I don't know. Excuse me. Are the Avengers in the screens now? Like, is this new version, this re-release, if you will, is that on in theaters now? I haven't checked. I just looked for Godzilla.
I think it's either coming this weekend or next weekend.
Yeah,
maybe they give it
July something or something.
Man, that's crazy. I would give it I would drop it today. Let it do what it got to do over the weekend and then pull it right for Spider-Man. Because Spider-Man comes out on the 2nd. And that's...
Yeah, let that guy who literally saw the movie over 100 times see it 100 more times, just so he could beat Avatar.
My man did not see it 100 times. He bought tickets for 100 showings. Don't get me wrong. I believe that. And my man sitting in that movie, that's 300 some odd hours. Get out of here with that bullshit. You lying, brother. Stop your lying, you phony. That's like me saying I seen Godzilla 35 times. That's not true. That's not true on home video, maybe. In a span, 100 times. Shut, that guy's a loony bin. I'm sorry. I respect him, though.
How can you afford to see it that many times?
He must own the theater, bro. It's like the only, just a manager.
I mean, I could barely afford to see Godzilla 4 times. And I get paid almost $5 more than a minimum wage.
Yes, it's crazy, but but it is what it is. I digress. I want to switch gears real quick. I want to talk about that 4D ride thing in Universal Japan.
Oh, the Godzilla vs. Evangelion 4D experience.
My goodness, man. I'll tell you, bro. I've seen a couple. There was one video, and I wanted to watch it because it was like 8 minutes long. I'm like, is this the whole fucking ride? And I couldn't find it. I could not. I was going through every channel possible, and I was like, damn, I can't find it. And it sucked, but I know I saw it, and I was going to watch it, but on my phone, I was like, nah, this sucks. I got to watch it on either the computer or the television. But I did see a couple of videos, and it was pretty damn cool, all things considering, with the source materials that they're using. Shit, Godzilla. And
shut up.
And I will say this though. Out of everything I saw, I really do love that new version of King Ghidorah. I loved it. I do. Even though it's real computer animated, you know what I'm saying? Man, it's got the old school cackle. That's it. I love it. And the freaking the gravity beams, everything. I enjoyed that look. I enjoyed the look. I love the way it moved. I really did like it. So, and the action was pretty good from what I've seen. From the clips I saw, the action was pretty good. I can't lie. It looked like Shin Godzilla had a bit of a personality in this one. Whoa! Stop the press. What's going on here?
I think it's because Hideaki Anno had nothing to do with it.
Probably. But y'all seen this, so
what that movie needed.
You ain't lying. So y'all seen this. So Andrew, let me ask you, man, what you think of this 4D ride thing? And if you get a chance to go to Japan, you going on that thing, right?
Oh, definitely. But from what I understand, it's only for this summer, and then they're going to close down the ride for some other new 4D ride. So that's disappointing. But it's things like that make me wish that Godzilla was as big here in America as he is in Japan. Because Universal Japan has been rocking it with Godzilla stuff ever since even Shin came out. Like ever since then, they've done so many. There was the 4D experience with just Shin Godzilla, no Evangelion, no Evangelion involved at all, and we never got a chance to see anything about that. I mean, it's a miracle that people have even gone to the ride and recorded what they have, in my opinion. And for someone like me, the merchandise is what's most appealing.
Oh yeah, come on. The merchandise is. Well, let me tell you something. Ever since Shin Godzilla came out and that whole Shin X Evangelion thing, the merchandise for that has been insane. I mean, come on. Who doesn't want a dope-ass Kiryu Unit 1A figure? It's just beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think they made two Kiryu Bandais. One based off of EVA Unit 1, and then another based off of that red one.
Yeah, EVA Unit 2, yeah.
Yeah, and I would love to have those in my collection. I don't have the triple-digit prices necessary to purchase them, but I would love to. I would love to have them in my collection.
That's because you're buying all the other stuff.
Listen here now. Okay, I am holding in my hand. This is not an episode to go figure, but I just want to point this out. I'm holding in my hand the King Ghidorah figure, right? And he looks good.
And
I like him.
He's not talking about King Ghidorah from Godzilla King of the Monsters. He's talking about King Ghidorah from the Godzilla vs. Evangelion 4D experience.
Yes. It says Godzilla vs. Evangelion, Universal Studios Japan, right on the tag. I'm not taking the tag off for this one like my other figures. Do you want to know why? I spent $98 on this fucker.
Jesus. You could have went to see Avengers a couple of times.
I could have. But it didn't. I spent $98 on this thing. Is this thing worth $98? No. But it's whatever. It's something that not a lot of people are going to have.
No, that's true.
And I like it just for that purpose.
Oh.
But going back to the ride itself, it makes me hopeful about what Toho has planned for the world of Godzilla. Are they going to make it all CG like they made Shin in this ride, or are they going to go back to suits? I don't know. But if they do all CG, I mean, it looks like they finally got a handle on it. It looks like they finally caught up to at least late 2000s, 2010 CGI technology from Hollywood, rather than 90s technology in the 2000s, like in GMK.
Let me tell you something. I was watching this a production video yesterday on Shin Godzilla, and it was all miniature work and the destructions set pieces, and I loved it. I did. I loved it, and they had they had the blue screen maquettes of Godzilla throughout the, if Godzilla's the first form of. What the hell was that form where he's walking around looking like a damn salamander? I hated that thing.
He's either known as the second form of Shin Godzilla, or he's known by the nickname of Kamata-kun.
Yeah, well, it's a piece of shit is what it is. But they were showing like that thing. It was like a green screen, a very rough carving of it. And, I did dig it. I did. And I am never, ever, ever going to be opposed to suitmation. It's what I fell in love with. It's why I love these movies. And then shit does blow up. The destruction sequences, the set pieces, everything they do it well. And that little the little behind the scenes piece that I watched yesterday with Shin Godzilla, man, I tell you, it was really dope. It was really cool. And even though I don't like the movie, I appreciate everything that went into the making of that movie. I appreciated everything. So massive props on that regard. But let me ask you, Chase. Gam, he brings up a good point. One, what do you think about the Shin Godzilla versus Evangelion experience? And two, would you like to see Godzilla move into a more CG realm, or are you okay with the suitmation?
Well, let's top it off with number one, the Shin Godzilla Evangelion ride. I think everyone knows where my thoughts are on it. I could care less about it. It's just not my thing. I just don't really care if it has Shin Godzilla titled on it. I just don't care to look at it.
Technically, it's not Shin Godzilla. It's just.
Well, I don't even care about Evangelion, so that's the thing. It doesn't interest me. I looked at it because of everyone talking about the new King Ghidorah or the rides King Ghidorah, and to me, like, I just didn't care for it. I'm not really in tune with what Toho's doing with what they're doing right now. I just don't think, I don't know, that King Ghidorah that I saw kind of bored me. That's just me, just like Shin Godzilla. I mean, I just didn't care. That's where I stand on it. I'm glad you guys liked it, though. I thought it was cool. That's totally cool. But on more the bigger topic where I have more of an opinion on is like, yeah, I would love to see Godzilla come in, and I would love for them to start doing with what Legendary's been doing. They've been doing the motion capture with pieces of like monster parts and stuff. I think that we've been mentioning motion capture and suitmation along with all of that. I think that would be a cool thing to try, a cool thing to do. And I would like to see that. I don't know if I strictly want Toho to go back to suitmation. I mean, I guess this is going kind of off realm here, but the Predator movies. Every time you see a Predator movie, the Predators are suits for the most part, and I think unless they could find a way to make that look prominent in their films, I would be on board with it. But I don't think it would be possible for Toho to keep up with suitmation of that scale and make it look quality as it needs to be in this day and age if they're wanting to come off as a serious company right now. That's one of the things a lot of people gripe about that aren't Godzilla fans. Oh, the suits look silly, or they look unreal. I mean, that's about any movie that does special effects like that. But if Toho wants to pull off, like, we are a business, we are a force, we are a movie company, we are entertainment, we want to be taken seriously, they either need to find something to fine-tune the suits to make it look great along with the movie they're making, or they need to innovate something else or just strictly try doing CGI. I don't care which. I just would like whatever they decide to do to look good, and it's what they firmly want to do. And, but personally, I would like to see if they could try suits and suitmation, because you get the best of both worlds. But in the end, you're not going to make everyone 100% happy, which is just, that's how the rainbows go. And there's still going to be people that are going to complain with the suitmation and motion capture, stuff like that, and vice versa. People are not going to be happy about CGI. People are not going to be happy about suits. But, I guess it's at that point it comes down to what Toho thinks is right. I honestly think they're going to go more with CGI now, because especially with their partnership with Hollywood now that they're doing, I think they're going to try and get help on their movies, which would be very cool. And yeah, I think that's where we stand now. CGI is becoming the thing where it's just what it is now. Suitmation's out, and I hate to say it, but I think that's what we're planning to do now.
Let me tell you, you brought something up that I gotta ask you, because now all of a sudden you had my brain thinking. You said Toho wants to be recognized as, a studio, like a powerhouse studio, not just in Japan, but I guess like now around the world. They a month ago or so, or a couple months ago, they're talking about the global branding of Toho. Remember this?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you, because that was a good point. It brought up a question in my mind. I'm gonna ask you: do you think Toho is doing this because of Warner Brother or Legendary's merger with the Chinese company? And for the life of me, I can't remember their name right now.
Wanda.
Yeah, Wanda. That's the name of the company. Do you think Toho is, saying they're gonna be this bigger brand and want to have a bigger influence throughout the world because of this merger with Wanda and Legendary? And see, because again, it goes back to China's becoming this powerhouse in the movie industry, and it seems like Wanda's leading the charge. And it's like, whoa, Toho, we've been around for a long time. So do you think this is why Toho is doing that, or Toho is just like, no, we just want extra money?
So I honestly believe that Wanda and Toho were the ones that basically signed this deal certified, just because Wanda decided after Godzilla 2014 and not even, because Kong Skull Island was their first production with them. They decided after 2014 that, hey, we want a part of Legendary. And Toho was attached to that, and it was all kaiju films. You had Kong Skull Island, you had Pacific Rim, you had all of these movies. Legendary is doing a lot of movies that like gravitate towards foreign countries. Detective Pikachu. All of these movies, they're almost un-American cultural. If that makes sense. And I feel like Wanda basically approached Toho and Legendary, more Legendary, of course, because I mean Toho's just the rights for Godzilla, and they're like, hey, we're gonna buy Legendary, and we want you guys to basically be our distributor. And Toho basically, whatever happens, Toho's like, all right, now it's time. I think, and I guess in the regard of your question, I don't think Toho did it because of Wanda coming in and buying Legendary. I think Toho finally woke up and they realize what is going to make them money. I mean, this is the thing from the beginning of Toho's, maybe not the beginning of Toho's existence, but when they started going bankrupt. And I think it's money. They want money, which as every company does, but I feel like Toho is probably one of the greediest. And nothing against Toho. If you're in a company, you want to be greedy. You want money. Just don't be greedy for the wrong reasons. And so I think Toho has finally now realized, like, okay, how do we expand our product, Godzilla, across the world and make it successful? So here comes Legendary, and they think, you know what? Let's partner with Legendary, and we'll start distributing Godzilla worldwide, at least overseas, or in the United States, through them, because we already have a copyright pact with them. We already have a contract made with them. We could offer them more contracts, more handshake negotiations, and we can distribute Godzilla around, distribute our product to make more money, to make it more viable in a market, and we can start being seen, hopefully start being seen as something that is a solidified force. We were popular 60 years, 40 years ago. Let's try and come back. And I think that's exactly what Toho's really doing now. I don't think Wanda had anything to do with it. I just think maybe it was just a coincidence that it was China. And I think maybe Wanda and Toho, maybe it's a respectful thing, but I don't think Wanda had anything to do with Toho branching out. I think it's really just, I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of like a trifecta, because you have Japan, United States, China. So you have kind of like this triangle here. And Japan, Toho will distribute in Japan, Legendary distributes in the United States, and Wanda distributes China, all over that area. And Japan will get most of Europe too. So I think it's just smart. And if anything, Toho pulled a big, big home run on this one.
Nice.
If you think about it. And to me, I'm just excited to see what the future is. And like you said, we have other news to get into about, the Comic-Con thing and stuff like that. But going back what Andrew said about hopeful for Godzilla being bigger in the United States to get stuff like 4D rides, I would dig that. I was just thinking the other night that I'm interested to see if when Toho makes other movies, what are they going to do with Godzilla? I was thinking it would be cool if they just stuck with Legendary and used their design, because to me it makes sense. If you're trying to promote something in the United States and in Japan, keep a Godzilla that's fresh.
I mean, if you look at the anime trilogy, the anime Godzilla has always strikingly looked like the Legendary Godzilla.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. I think Legendary is going to keep that kind of going. I think it just depends what happens after Godzilla vs. Kong, but I was also thinking, too, that we have not heard anything about Toho wanting to make more movies recently, and this was said before they decided to do this partnership with Legendary. And I almost think now that Toho's going to wait an insane amount of time to start making their own products again. And I mean, I'm not saying like years from now, but I think it's going to be a lot longer than what we are expecting TOHO to make movies. Just the way things are going with negotiations and what they're wanting to do.
Hang on. Save all that stuff because that is perfect for the next topic. Save that stuff.
Okay.
But Andrew, I wanted your opinion on this. I think Chase pretty much answered my question, but I want to get your take on it too. Do you think TOHO is doing this worldwide thing in response to, let's say, Wanda becoming a force in the Asian market, and if not worldwide now?
I mean, it's like Chase said. This is just pretty much smart business. TOHO has always been in the market to make money. I mean, look at their past decisions. The only reason that the Heisei series, for example, got things like Godzilla vs. Mothra and Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah was because TOHO, the previous two movies weren't making enough money. So TOHO made the business decision to bring back previous monsters, and it paid off for them. Godzilla vs. Mothra is one of the most profitable movies in the entire franchise. These recent business moves, like TOHO establishing themselves as in Hollywood, TOHO making these deals with Legendary, the plans for World of Godzilla, it's all pretty smart to keep Godzilla in the public eye. And that's what they want at the end of the day, to keep Godzilla in the public eye, because the Legendary movies, Shin, as much as you guys hate the movie, Shin has made that big impact in the Japanese market. They need to keep the momentum going, otherwise we'll just have another situation like the Millennium series where it just kind of sputtered along until they just decided to give up.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Because
and that's I was gonna say that's a good point you bring it up, because I was thinking exactly the same thing, that maybe Godzilla right now isn't as popular in the public as we would want or they would want, but you keep hammering that along, and I think that eventually that ball will start snowballing. And I think the more you have it out there, the more people are going to start catching on.
It's crazy, the whole Millennium thing. I mean, we didn't get any of the Heisei series movies out here through conventional means until the Millennium series was coming out. So it was like, what? It wasn't until like Godzilla 2000 that you can now go and buy Godzilla versus King Ghidorah like legitly. It wasn't around, and it sucked for those who didn't know. Especially like the young. When I was young, all the Showa movies was on TV. So I had an outlet. I was able to watch them there. But like when I was a teenager and all of those movies were already out in Japan, I had no clue. It was Biollante, and that was it until I saw the ending of Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla in the video store my cousin worked at. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Like I was just like, what is this? But yeah, it's so true, because then you get like the Millennium series, and there was no destination. At least even in the Showa series, it was kind of like loosely connected.
They couldn't decide in the Millennium series what they wanted to do.
The direction.
Look how many Godzilla changes and story changes there were in the Millennium series. I mean, they had no idea what they wanted to do. They were like, all right, we want to go with Godzilla 2000 as our poster child. All right, we'll give it another movie, see how it goes. Oh, that didn't work out. Let's do Kirugoji and went to GMK. It just was a mess, and
they just kept on throwing everything at the wall, and nothing stuck.
Yep.
So they just went balls to the wall with Final Wars and just said, "Screw it, we'll try again in like a decade."
It's crazy too. In the Millennium series, you had the guy who did the Gamera trilogy, Shusuke Kaneko. I'm butchering those names, by the way. Which to me, it's still like, man, that's still like top shelf liquor, that Gamera trilogy. I absolutely love it. And it was because he had a vision and he was allowed to see it through. Beautiful.
Oh yeah, definitely.
and freaking Kitamura, bro. This dude here, I like his movies. I like Versus. I like Alive. I like Azumi. I'm probably missing another one. And I absolutely love Final Wars because of how bad shit crazy it is. I mean, it's bad shit crazy. It's like, what is going on here? It's retarded fun. I digress. That's another podcast. But they got two prolific directors in Japan. And like you said, nothing stuck. I swear to God, if they would have gave Kaneko the reins to Godzilla from GMK, if they'd have said, listen, don't just do GMK, we want you to do Gamera. And I know that sounds like you're biting off of shit, but I mean, like, hey, it's got to start somewhere, right? Marvel did what Marvel did. DC tried to do it. Didn't work. Godzilla's bigger than Gamera. Let's be for real here. Now, could you imagine if if Godzilla got that Gamera treatment from the director who did the Gamera trilogy? Woo!
I mean, what sunk it was Toho's own
meddling.
It was Toho's own meddling.
Yeah, they were like
he
Fox.
He had a vision, and Toho was like, "No, we don't want Varan and what was the other one?
Anguirus.
Anguirus. Yeah, we don't want Varan and Anguirus. They're not profitable." But yet, apparently, Anguirus was too beloved of a character to have him killed off in the Kiryu duology. Whatever. But yeah, like they're not beloved and profitable enough, so put Mothra and King Ghidorah in there. And yeah, GMK did pretty well because it was still a legitimately fantastic film.
Yeah.
But because they ruined his vision, I don't think Kaneko even wanted to come back.
And I think that's exactly, they were the Fox movie studios of Japan. Stop meddling. Leave it alone. This is why you hire these people. Let them have their vision. Now, if it was just some run-of-the-mill dude, let's, for instance, look, Gareth Edwards, they gave him pretty much free reign. They gave Michael Dougherty free reign. You know what I mean? Like, look what they go ahead, do your movie. Make your movie. If Toho would have been like, make your movie, I think it would have been, I'll be honest with you, I would have loved to see Varan and Anguirus in that movie. One, because I think Varan's very underrated. I love that kaiju, right? I don't know why, I just do. And come on, everybody always wants to see some Anguirus, right? We all need a little more Anguirus in our life. So the switch to Mothra and King Ghidorah, and let's be fair, I love that movie, I do. That King Ghidorah is probably the worst King Ghidorah in the franchise. You know, it's absolute crap. And it's hard because do you blame Kaneko for that? Or do you blame Toho? Did Kaneko say,
Toho.
Yeah, did Kaneko say, you know what, fuck it, you know what? Let's ruin Ghidorah then. You know, oh, he's so profitable and shit. Let's just have Godzilla blow his ass up quick. We ain't never seen that before.
Let's have King Ghidorah die every scene that he's in.
Yeah, he had 3 lives in that movie, 1 for each head. And he just got until there was no more, until there was nothing left. But yeah, I mean, dude, it's crazy when you think about it. And hey, maybe just maybe, going forward, Toho says, okay, maybe we take our hands out of everything and certain rules still apply. Godzilla shouldn't eat anybody. You know, like, let's keep that a thing. And there has to be a certain look to it. That's why you failed, TriStar. That's why you failed.
Once Toho is hands off, but still does their guidelines that Legendary has to follow, like, just stick to those guidelines, but everything else, let the director do what they want. I feel like the series we're facing a potential for the series to flourish in a way that it hasn't since the Showa era.
Wait a minute. You know what? It just dawned on me. It just dawned on me. Didn't Toho kind of let the anime trilogy be its own thing too? Like that, those movies with the exception of the first one, they don't scream Toho.
Yeah, no, not at all. And I'm pretty sure they kind of just let what's the it starts with his name starts, but like the main writer, his name starts with a G.
Yeah,
he was the guy behind Madoka Magica. They just kind of let him do what he wanted. Sure, it didn't pan out at all, but they still let him do it. And you know what? I could commend them for that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I want to get it. I want to get into the last bit of news.
His name is Gen Ibrachi.
Yeah, that guy.
Thank you, Chase. Appreciate that, brother. I want to get into the last bit of news to go through because there's some stuff that this has potential here. That news is the other day it broke. Was it yesterday, Chase? Tuesday or Wednesday? I don't remember.
Yes, it was yesterday.
Where TOHO is going to be at Comic-Con. What? TOHO at Comic-Con? What type of... And not just that, like the legit San Diego Comic-Con. What? Now...
it ain't them coming to G-Fest like we do every year.
Well, yeah, exactly. But still, Here's the deal, though. Before we all go crazy and everything, we got to take a breath and realize they're coming to Comic-Con, yes, but they're not coming with a panel, which that would have been crazy news. That would have been something to really get excited about. TOHO has a panel at Comic-Con featuring Godzilla. What? They're coming in. I think they're going to have a glorified booth, if I'm not mistaken. Chase?
It's like an exhibit. It's like what they did with 2014.
Okay, so you think they're gonna bring in like a bunch of old school Godzilla suits again and just have like this? Cool...
Yeah, that's exactly what the article I think even said when it was dropped. That it's just like what 2014 was with the suits and history and like the oxygen destroyer prop and movie props and stuff like that.
Do you think they're gonna have a pop-up Godzilla store in it?
They might maybe have a little tiny kiosk.
Because what was that? Right, like a month ago or something, they were talking about pop-up Godzilla stores, just like randomly popping up for like 24 hours and then that's it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they've been popping up all over. One of my close friends actually managed to go there and get a few things.
In Japan?
Not in Japan. He lives in like Texas or something.
What? There was a pop-up Godzilla store in Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what the pop-up announcement was. It was TOHO's first step for merchandising Godzilla in the United States. There was one in Texas, there's one in San Francisco, there's one in another place in the United States too. But it was only for like 3 days.
Okay. Well, I think they're gonna do one for San Diego Comic-Con. I believe there's gonna be a pop-up something to go along with this. It would make sense. Plus, if they're trying to branch out and market, I mean, this is the perfect place to sell merchandise. It's Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I, for one, am looking forward to what NECA and Tamashi are gonna bring to the table for Comic-Con in terms of announcements. So it would be the perfect time for TOHO to come in, sell a bunch of their exclusive Godzilla store stuff, like the blue King Ghidorah figure or the statue version of Shin that's like that replaced the Heisei Godzilla statue over in Tokyo. They made a Bandai figure of that. Just a bunch of things,
It would be very I guess mistaken if they don't allow to sell merchandise when they have their booth set up.
Chase, let me ask you, what do you think this glorified booth is, or whatever you called it? I forgot what you just said. Literally, you just said it. What do you
like
think?
An exhibit?
The exhibit, yeah, like...
What do I think it is?
Yeah, outside of just being an exhibit, do you think there's going to be more to it? I mean, I know we're not going to get a panel in Hall H or nothing like that, but do you think that TOHO might do some more?
The only thing, if anything, they're going to promote Godzilla versus Kong by like posters. We'll probably see the licensing expo poster, that one that went around with Godzilla and Kong, and it's like the blue and red hue, and they're like fighting. We'll probably see that, but other than that, probably nothing. It's probably, that's pretty much it. Other than that, it's just going to be an exhibit. They may have I hope they have like a little cabinet or kiosk for selling merchandise. But other than that, I don't really think there's going to be too much of it, All
right, Gams, what about you, man?
I mean, I hope things come of it. I mean, nothing huge, of course, but like, maybe showcasing something about what Toho has planned in the future, because you know, I keep on bringing it up, but we gotta remember that Toho has always, even before King of the Monsters came out, they always had plans after Godzilla vs. Kong is done in 2020 that they're going to start their own cinematic universe of Godzilla movies. So maybe this should be the time to start hyping that up.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's still, if that's even the plan still.
You think?
Yeah, if it's still the plan, but they haven't said anything about canceling it. So
yeah, but that's why I brought it up earlier, that when they decided the partnership with Legendary and all that was after they announced their cinematic universe, and that's possible just with how things turn out, things change. Just we haven't heard anything about it, which I don't expect to hear anything about it. But the thing is, I'm just thinking like it's a possibility. I'm not saying it's canceled, but I'm saying it may be a lot longer to where there's no point to talking about it in the next couple of years or so. But no, I like what you said about giving maybe a pamphlet or something, or like a presentation or something about what they want to do to branch Godzilla to the United States. Yeah. I think that would be really smart to do that. But I would feel like with that, they would need a little bit of a panel or something.
Yeah,
but they maybe Toho just at this point in time are financially, Hall H is an expensive hall.
They're not going to Hall H. That's out the question.
No, they're not going to Hall H. No.
But just something like you said, a little pamphlet or something about maybe how they're coming to Hollywood, how they've established all these deals, what they have planned for the future.
Yeah, or some
franchise.
coming soon posters, or a list of coming soon stuff.
Or they take a page out of 2015's New York Comic Con, and they do a little bit thing what Gamera did. That was just basically a freaking a pole, a sheet, and some chairs. Yeah, that was
a dick tease. That was.
No, but what I'm saying is, with Toho, maybe they have a little something in one of these side rooms, or because I've been to several cons in my time, and I like going to sit in the random panel for whatever it was. When I went to G Fest, and this is damn near almost 20 years ago now. I sat there, with the panels that they had, and they weren't even talking about nothing much. They announced the Kiru saga. They announced the Kiru saga. I forgot what else they did because it's been that long. But things like that. Now imagine at Comic-Con, you go in one of these offshoot side rooms, and boom, there's a Toho panel for no other reason but there being a Toho panel, and they talk about making Godzilla a global brand, a real force to be reckoned with. Maybe King of the Monsters might have hurt the Godzilla brand. But if you're going to back the damn horse, you throw all your chips in and you go for it. That's yours. You know what I'm saying? Godzilla is your baby. Nurture it. Especially if you're planning on whether or not it comes to pass. I don't think Toho would have any problems putting out a new Godzilla movie after all, the Legendary stuff is said and done. Because as of now, we don't even know if Legendary's doing anything after Godzilla vs. Kong. God, and I think that might have been one of their problems, that they announced it right off the bat. Maybe they should have waited on that and just waited to see how everything panned out. But that's a different thing altogether.
And that's even if Godzilla King of the Monsters in fact hurt the Godzilla brand.
Exactly.
The problem is King of the Monsters was still a good movie. It just didn't perform the way they expected. Doesn't mean it hurt the brand.
But then again, if nobody's going to see it, it does hurt the brand because nobody wants to see it. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But
because if it comes out, if Toho makes movies and they only come out in Japan, then we're going to see it a different way than being able to go to the theater and experience it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's more of a reason why Toho could wait a little longer, because if they're just making Godzilla movies in Japan, Godzilla's never going to have that spot to branch out.
I agree. Now, what Toho should do?
Yeah, the last thing I want is to have another Heisei Millennium situation where the only thing we ever see is the Sony DVDs and Blu-rays.
Yeah, I think this is where Toho should do it. Toho should really, they should make, instead of Godzilla, they should expand their monsterverse, but they should legitly put a monster in each nation and just focus on that. You want to go global, bro? Don't just make, Japan's always being invaded. Make that American, I don't want to say Godzilla, but make Anguirus come out in America. Like, Anguirus is America's monster, let's just say. But that's what you do. And then base that movie in New York.
Or, like, if you're going to make it a cinematic universe, make it a cinematic universe.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Imagine having a solo Gigan film that's in space.
Oh, come on. I'm down for that. I'm down for that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, honestly, I think that if you do something like that, instead of having, like, several different monsters in one movie, and it's hard because, we want to see big fights and stuff. See, me personally, I really like the solo ventures where it's like the monster versus the military, and how are we going to be able to beat this thing? I like that. I would love to see that, That's what I thought G14 was going to be until we saw the trailers with, Rodan not confirmed Muto. And we're like, whoa, what's going on? There's going to be a fight? Okay.
The best hashtag of all time.
Yeah, seriously is. But like, I would love if Toho went that route and said, okay, we've seen what Legendary did. Okay. And granted, listen, Kong versus Godzilla, that's still a big item ticket, man. That's marquee. But
it's what? What's that?
It's a big item ticket. It's you know what I'm saying? That's a marquee matchup. But is it outside of the fandom? Like, how much interest? That's gonna be the question going forward. Where and how? No, more how than where. How do you market this movie with saving more money than you did with Godzilla King of the Monsters? Because, make no mistake, Godzilla vs. Kong has to turn a profit. It has to turn a good profit at that. And I believe you got to cut from the marketing. So now you got to play it smart. How can we market this movie? You know what I mean? How can we market this movie?
You start by coming out clean and saying, yes, our movie's being delayed.
I 100% agree with that. I ain't even mad. You know it.
That's what I'm saying, though, is like, that's marketing for Godzilla vs. Kong would have to have started. And it kind of is, but it's very, very quiet. And the only thing really we have is a licensing expo, and that's not even supposed to be seen by the public. So my problem is if you're trying to be smart about a movie's marketing and you're trying to deliver us an A-grade film that you claim, and it comes out in March, you're kind of like, it's like, what are you doing now? And I think marketing for it just isn't going to, if it comes out in March, like they're saying, it's still coming out, especially now a couple days early or something like that. I don't know how marketing's going to fare well with Godzilla versus Kong. They have to pull off some ballsy, risky things probably to probably give it the legs it needs. Yeah. That's how I feel. And that's why one of the things I've been upset about the Godzilla versus Kong not getting delayed, because and I know, and there's a lot of people that are so excited and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I think it needed to be delayed. And I guess we'll see when it comes out, but who knows? They may come out with a Hail Mary and they get the best marketing idea ever. Right. And it just becomes the talk of the town. But right now, I mean,
they just got to figure out.
You better start marketing before November.
Now, and I don't think you need to, but they got to figure out a way to get other people outside of the fandom into those seats. And I ain't talking Avengers numbers. You don't need Avengers numbers. You don't.
No, you do not.
But you got to play on the nostalgia the way Aladdin played on nostalgia, the way The Lion King is going to play on nostalgia, the way Toy Story 4 plays on nostalgia. You got to find that. You got to find that. Or, like you said, you got to hit a home run.
How do you do that, though, with Godzilla when it being only Godzilla fans that understand the nostalgia?
No, you gotta go back to the show era. You gotta go back. You gotta start marketing to people who used to watch that. You gotta market to grandparents. I hate to say it like that, but you gotta market to grandparents.
Like the only ones that I can see that will have that kind of nostalgia are the baby boomers,
the geriatrics. You gotta do it.
We need Mothra.
No, we don't.
But but no. Think about it. How many people during the 2014 thing were like, "Where's Mothra?" or this or that? I mean, I tell you, man. Just when I was working at the movie theater and I was cutting tickets and talking about Kong Skull Island, telling about the Godzilla stuff, the only thing that people would come out talking about that was like, "Oh, did you see the thing of Mothra?" I'm telling you, Mothra.
The fact that Mothra was the standout character in this movie, really everybody loves Mothra in this movie.
Yeah, it's true. And Mothra got 3 seconds of screen time.
But again, that's what I'm saying, though, is how do you market a nostalgia feel when it's only Godzilla fans at its core that are going to understand the nostalgia?
No, it's not really. That's not true at all.
Okay, well, explain. How so? How do you see otherwise?
I'm not a part of the marketing team. I'm telling them to create a strategy. I'm just saying that if you want to do that, right? If you want to get people outside of the fandom into the seats, you got to try to play off the feeling of the show era, the way it used to come on TV back in the day, the way they used to promote. Y'all weren't even around yet, but the way they used to promote that. Go touch it, figure out a way to take that and bring it back to where, like, Grandpa Joe over there is sitting there and said, "Man, oh shit, Kong gonna fight Godzilla." I remember when I seen that in the movies. I took your father to see it. Shit, like, you gotta figure out a way to get that involved. Mothra is another thing.
Then how do you get the people that aren't the baby boomers involved?
You gotta make sure the grandparents bring them. That's how you do it. Grandparents, bring your grandkids.
But you know, that being the only solution, that's not going to be realistic.
But that's not the only solution. I didn't say that was. That's my point. I didn't say that.
But that's what I'm asking, though, is what else would you do to get the people that aren't baby boomers involved to it?
I don't know. I'm not a part of the marketing scheme. That's what I'm saying.
I would say one of the things is this is a versus movie between two big icons. If I recall correctly, one of the greatest marketings of a versus movie like this that I remember in recent years is the marketing for Freddy vs. Jason. Have it be this big event. Have two dudes in rubber suits show up at WWE, like Friday Night SmackDown, and have them duke it out.
I agree.
Before the movie comes out.
I mean, and that was one of the things I think was missing too. That would have been a huge market right there. Getting them, the wrestling fans like it. Again, and I said this actually a couple weeks ago on the podcast. Exactly that. You want to market this movie, you got to do something like that. Treat it as a marquee fight.
I can see it now. WWE promotes the biggest WWE fight coming in March. Godzilla versus Kong.
Monster Mania, baby. Monster Mania. You sell like that. Monster Mania. I'm telling you. And for the Mothra thing, you're absolutely right. Everybody loved Mothra coming out of this movie. You know what? Show Mothra in the trailers. Make it a Mothra movie. Make it seem like it's gonna be a Mothra movie. Make it seem like that. You know what I mean? But as of right now, they got plenty of time, I'll be honest with you. I don't think they need to rush on the marketing right now.
Or make it a King Kong movie.
That too. Either way you look. Either way you look at it,
you have to find that balance to kind of, because King Kong is an American monster, and America still likes King Kong. America knows King Kong because it's more, I guess, traditional in the United States. If you find a way to find that balance to make it look like a King Kong movie, I mean, shit, even change it to King Kong versus Godzilla if you want to. that would make it seem more like a King Kong movie. But that's a what if.
Now, all I'm saying is they got plenty of time to get it done. Whether they get it right is another thing altogether. They want to start paying me, then I start throwing my ideas out there. Up until that point in time, I just sit back and enjoy the ride. Because here's the deal. The deal is, if this trend continues, then Godzilla vs. Kong will be in our laps by this time next year. I'll be watching it on my TV instead of going to the theaters to see it, because it's going to be in one week and out the other. It's going to make about $15 million on a budget that's probably going to be 130, 140. And yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't be talking about this right now. Because if you jinx the movie and the movie fails now, I'm blaming you.
I'm just saying. I have hope for the movie. I have hope for it. I mean, granted.
I think I have hopes for the movie too. I think it's going to do better than King of the Monsters. But we'll see.
All you got to do is market it right. But anyhow, that'll do it for this episode of the G Show Podcast. I want to thank my cohorts for joining us today. Thank you, my brother Chase.
No problemo at all. I am so excited to see what Toho's going to show off, and I'm excited to find out when we get a Godzilla vs. Kong trailer, if we get a Godzilla vs. Kong trailer.
That ain't going to happen until probably November, maybe
Which
October.
I hope for.
Right.
But that means it shouldn't come out in March.
I agree. Gams, thank you for joining us once again.
Oh, always a pleasure, always.
And I want to thank everybody out there for joining us, tuning in. Listen, we won't be here next week because it is the 4th of July holiday. So we're going to take...
We blowing shit up.
We're going to blow shit up. we're gonna spend more money on fireworks than people went and did for Godzilla King of the Monsters. Oh, that was bad. I'm sorry. That was harsh.
I mean, you're not wrong.
It's true.
That's how you market Godzilla. Make a firework like they used to.
Oh, hell yeah. Big firework,
I remember
Godzilla in the sky.
Firework every year when Godzilla 2000 came out.
There it is. Well, that'll do it for us here. I am G1. You guys have been great. We're out of here. Peace.